Sorry, guys, I'm doing something special for the podcast. I'm not really wanting my face cam in it, just so that I can slouch and be a little goblin in general. So I am setting up a different screen, so give me just a second, okay? Those sounds go together, or the sounds... I think I like the sound music I'm playing a bit more. Yeah. Okay, and I am live and in it. Let me turn on that. Oh no. My border's all squished. 1 second. You've seen it here first, folks. Live action, redoing everything on the spot. You'll love to see it. Eh. I don't know. Kind of a vibe, kind of not a vibe also. It's fine. I like it when it's less.
Is that on?
My chat currently is not typing anything. Boof, can you say something in chat, please?
Wait, I can test. It doesn't look to be linked.
This is me in chat. This is what I'm saying. This is how I do. This is what I do. Start sharing chat. Oh, I have to
Okay, cool.
click a button.
Should that do that?
This is totally professional collaboration between Little Sarah and Dissonant Whispers. Aha, the main D&D
Yippee.
brain behind the new Dissonant Whispers podcast. I say new, they've gone through a whole season, but they're starting a new one recently. It's gonna actually be super cool. Care to tell us what is gonna be going on in the recent Dissonant Whispers future?
Yeah, of course. Let me just finish. Sorry, let me finish doing one thing on my side. And
Wasn't ready.
sorry, I know we're kind of going spontaneously here. Let me switch to this. But welcome to not your typical bedtime story. And we are here discussing like you said the new coming Call of Cthulhu project, which I'm very excited about. And yeah, well, it's been a long time coming. I think it's been in the works for a long time. You probably know that more than anyone else. It's taken kind of a long time for everything to get off the ground, but it's a very big difference, I think, from our first project that you did mention, and this one, because the first project was pretty like kind of testing the grounds, seeing kind of what we need to do, seeing like our production quality, which was still very much in like the beginning stages, and it still is. But I think we're kind of really figuring things out now, in a way, and we're really gonna try to like push this series specifically. Whereas the first one was kind of just like kind of going on the run, like figuring things out as we go. But I'm looking forward to putting more editing effort into this one, really putting more production quality into it, and yeah. But what do you think about it?
I'm just kind of excited to get back into the space. It's like I've been missing um D&D and just like kind of hanging out and like cuz it's like different. It's like I was talking earlier with my friends. I was like just having a way to just be with people in a space that's not like necessarily active. It's more of like lower energy vibing is just really cool. Obviously, we're going to be doing things not low energy. But I'm just excited to get back into the group, the swing of things. Although I am realizing now that it's like, yeah, it actually will be probably more energy than I'm already planning on it being.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think more energy sometimes can depend on like, I mean, output can depend largely on like how much of a chore it is. And I think if you're playing with your friends at the end of the day, then it shouldn't be much of a chore. I mean, it is, I guess, a lot of energy like in preparation and like all this character work that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
Well, I
looking
wouldn't
forward to it. I think
necessarily say
mhm.
like not energy like isn't a bad thing. It's more so it's like I don't know, like yeah, no, I can't think of a word.
No, I know what you mean though.
Yeah, like it's gonna be like not like commitment more so, but like it's gonna be a thing.
Totally. Yeah, and I'm kind of looking forward to it being more of a thing. I do kind of like enjoy that aspect of it, especially with the storytelling. I think that with this group, it's gonna be like it's gonna be very interesting. kind of where the direction that it takes. And I think just we have all the factors coming together to kind of support the story itself. And I guess right now, like just the beginning stages are like supporting those factors to make sure that everything is where it should be. Everyone has the resources that they need. Everyone is on like equal footing in terms of like starting, preparing. Um, but yeah, Call of Cthulhu is like I think the first it's the first time playing Call of Cthulhu for a lot of us, which is kind of going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. But I am really liking the potential Call of Cthulhu has versus like other TTRPGs that I've done, specifically D&D. I'm looking at like the potential differences that yields versus Call of Cthulhu, and it seems like Call of Cthulhu really has some like promising, interesting like structural changes that or differences that I'm looking forward to kind of getting to know more and seeing how that will impact the story, because I think it will maybe more than we realize, because we're so structured to like D&D, or I am at least.
Yeah, we're already kind of feeling the differences just based on like the the setup for it. We're all like, what does this mean? What is the skill check? Because like in D&D, guys, like you have like things that you normally expect. You have like dexterity, you have um like charisma, you have things. Call of Cthulhu bases on like appearance, sanity is a thing, luck is a big thing, um, and like the intelligence and stuff is all the same as well. But you literally have like roles for like accounting. Like you're like, oh, that's an interesting
Right.
thing you have to think about. Like, oh, because it's definitely, instead of being like this out of this world character in this like fantasy far off place, it's like you're just a person. You're a person in a very hard to understand like horrible situation. Pretty much, it's like that's the whole point
Yeah.
of like the cosmic horror kind of thing. But it's like it's the like worst situation for a normal Joe, and you have to make a normal Joe as best as you can that could survive this horrible mind shattering situation. So it's really interesting because you're just like, I'm gonna be squishy, and you're gonna have to be
Mhm.
okay with that.
Yep. I have one fear I have is just I'm so used to running these stories and campaigns with like undefeatable parties that are so powerful,
Yeah.
and I hope I don't overcompensate, you know.
Yeah.
um,
And how is it even setting up? Like, do you just like set up like, oh, instead of it's like, oh, I got 3 goblins and a goon, like henchmen, and it's like, oh, well, now I have creeping dread and like a nightmarish figure. Like, how is like the setup
mhm,
going? Like, how is that? Like, you don't have to give spoilers specifically
mhm.
for the what we're gonna be going into, but like in general, how is the rollover for that?
Right. It's definitely a lot different from like D&D preparation, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot more. I mean, coming at the encounters is gonna be a lot different, because I think for a lot of them, try not to spoil anything in particular. A lot of it's going to be kind of evading things rather than like fighting things head on. And I guess I'm speaking more to like the Call of Cthulhu game system in general rather than this story in specific. But it I feel like the way I'm preparing it, at least, is very specific to this story that we kind of have in the works. So it's probably going to be a little bit different from like typical like Call of Cthulhu gameplay in that sense. And I won't say really much more because I would kind of have to spoil some things. But it is interesting. There's some differences for sure in like preparation and encounters, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays off, and to seeing if kind of the work I put into that pays off. Hopefully it does. And like I think one of the most important things is like, and one of the best kind of ways to even measure like how a story is going in TTRPGs is if the players are enjoying it, if the players feel like autonomous and able to make their own decisions, and so that's a big thing that I've been trying to work on and allow and make sure there's room for as much as that as possible. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's gonna end up being something super cool. For those who aren't aware of, like, so, like, everyone kind of knows what Dungeons and Dragons is, basically, because there's, like, a movie about it, and there's also tons of shows and tons of other books, but, like, Call of Cthulhu isn't necessarily a smaller branch of Dungeons and Dragons. It's something kind of vastly different. That's kind of what we're trying to, like, expound on. But, like, it's a pretty much Lovecraftian horror take on, like, this, like, TTRPG. So it's not necessarily, like, a lot of people know Dungeons and Dragons. It's not based on Dungeons and Dragons. It's actually completely independent. But for reference, imagine just Dungeons and Dragons got thrown back in time and blend with a sense of Cthulian dread. Um, and that's a lot of what, like, you could really call, like, Call of Cthulhu necessarily being.
Yeah, totally. There's so much more room for like that noir, like horror. Um, and by the way, anyone who has any questions about it, it's totally open chat to ask. This is, I guess, part of. And let me know, kind of, if you agree. But maybe like an idea with this is just like sharing the space to really talk to anyone that comes in, has questions about anything that's going on, and really like move the discussion forward like that way. Anyone who
What are we
wants to
talking
take
about?
part absolutely can. What are we talking about? We are talking about the Call of Cthulhu project coming up.
Yeah, and kind of how it differs from, like, Dungeons and Dragons, like the more traditional mediums that I'm more aware of, and then also like how, like, kind of player side differences versus like game master differences as well, like even like DM GM differences, but like without getting in a lot into spoilers, because like obviously Arha keeps things close to his chest. Arthur wants to keep things under wraps, and that's completely fine. I don't want to get spoiled. But we're just kind of promoting it as well. This is also going to be, so this podcast, not your typical bedtime story, what we're doing right now, um, is going to be, it's not going to be running the actual sessions. That will be on Arthur's channel, the Dissonant Whispers cast, which is linked right now. You guys can go over there, sub, and just like watch there. That is where you're going to be getting a lot of the content from. Arha, do you also have a YouTube?
We do have a YouTube, yeah. And all of it can be found if you do go to the Dissonant Whispers cast channel on Twitch. You can kind of drop down and see the bio, and there's a bunch of links to all the different socials we have. We're on pretty much everything. Maybe not like Facebook, but pretty much everything else. So feel free to look us up everywhere. And yeah, but yeah, thanks for kind of mentioning that. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to the projects. I'm glad you were able to kind of join us for this one, for
Mm-hmm.
kind of our.
Yeah,
I,
life
I
got
want
a
to say like,
little rough. We haven't been hanging out as much. We kind of, like, I got, like, my surgery happened. I did a big move from state to state, and I honestly just lost a lot of contact. But it's like, I miss all you guys. I'm very excited to see what's gonna go and, like, happen.
yeah,
Also,
it has been a while.
sorry if you hear my cat wailing in the background.
No worries.
Scout has opinions. But yeah, so this is kind of just like we're just catching back up and chatting and talking about projects, and Xander, by the way, let you guys know if you forgot. Honestly, it's beginning flu season at my work. I work at a doctor's office, a pediatrics office, so like I'm just exhausted. It's like you guys are getting low energy. Like, bedtime story is supposed to be relaxed. We're just vibing. It's kind of definitely like chill. um we're just kind of throwing all this together just to kind of have some fun with it, but in general, I don't know. I've just been tired. Work is a lot, as any adult can tell you. But
Tell me about it. Yep.
but
But
thanks for stopping
but yeah,
in,
we
though.
we keep creating anyway.
Yeah, we persist. The horrors persist, but so do we.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where it's like, hopefully, this is something that re-sparks. I just go to school. I mean, school is its own form of brain numbing. It's just different. But
Hopefully it's brain activating sometimes.
yeah, like I personally love school, but it's like we want something that is going to encourage more creativity. Is like that's not like the end goal is just to keep on moving and creating and going and creating, and it's like a circle.
Yeah, and I hope that circle keeps looping, especially with Distant Whispers. It's had a lot of momentum so far, I think, which is good. Um, and as long as it just like keeps going, that's what I'm kind of happy about. And yeah, as long as it keeps going, like I'm not worried like where we'll be or our destination necessarily. I think, I mean, I can hope, but with this project, it's very much just like keep going, just don't lose hope, don't lose sight to like keep improving, keep getting better, keep kind of pursuing the quality in our storytelling and like the group kind of passion that we all have in this. God, I sound pretentious, but um just like pursuing betterment in the our production quality, storytelling quality in everything that we can.
We're just gonna.
And I know, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, no. We're just striving to improve. You know, that's all you do. It's you learn, you get better, you do learn.
Yeah, I'm excited that we're commissioning artists for the first time, which is something I've never done before. And I'm excited because for two reasons mainly. One reason being that I think it's cool to be able to support artists, especially and avoid doing AI art, which
I don't.
I wouldn't be
Let's
caught
not.
dead
Let's not do
contributing
that.
to.
I had to tell someone about
Um,
AI at work. Whew, that's a whole different. That's a whole different podcast topic. Thank you, by
it
the way.
is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was telling Xander. Thank you. I don't know if he was
Oh,
talking to
I
you or
see.
to me, but thank you.
Cool, yeah. But yeah, contributing, especially now, I guess, with the AI kind of influx, I
Mm.
do really like. I don't know. I really want to make sure like I'm trying my best to support people. It's hard though. Um, but anyway, that's another topic, like you said. But yeah, I'm happy we can kind of do that, and I'm really looking forward to kind of really putting everything I can into making sure everyone has what they need with the character art, having like just something that looks nice, I think is important. That contributes to a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean we have a great cast. So when you have like quality ingredients everywhere, you know, one bad ingredient can make soup taste pretty bad. So I hope I'm not that one bad ingredient, but
I will be the bay
otherwise.
leaf of our nightmares.
I like bay leaves though in like
Have you
soup, even
ever
though I can't
eaten?
taste it,
Oh no.
but it's there and I
You've
know it's
ever
there,
accidentally chomped on a bay leaf, then you would know.
and I love it, even though it's
Ew.
the worst feeling ever.
That's horrible. How have we been faring over learning the new rules for Call of Cthulhu? Um, Toddlerish, I would like to say. I am very much. It doesn't help that I will learn very well through like observation, and so it's very hard to learn in theory when it's something like this. Um,
Yeah, what I like to do, I'm kind of the same way. What I like to do in that regard is just watching other inspirations, kind of like Critical Role or something, playing Call of Cthulhu. That really helps to get a grasp on the rules and kind of like seeing how people play, because you're right, like observation's a big thing, and like kind of being in the moment too.
and it's one of those things where it's It's gonna be a learning curve for sure. Like I was saying earlier, it's completely different rule class. Um, I think it's one of those things where, like, and also I did this with Dungeons and Dragons as well. It's one of those things where it's repetition of the like of application of the rules is what really gets me to learn it. Um, Other than that, I'm kind of honestly just uh resource guided. Like I need my materials, which in this I have not actually gotten like the PDFs that I need for like the player books and stuff like that. I need to look those up. Um, but we have a good team, and I know if I need help, we can always just find one, so it shouldn't be the worst.
And I'd like us to encourage us, I guess, to give ourselves in a moment if we do forget a rule or we don't know the proper thing in a scenario. I mean, the great thing about TTRPGs is that you can kind of just like make shit up on the spot, and sometimes doing that kind of curates even a more interesting moment or a more interesting story in the end. And Xander says, "I get that. I had trouble learning the rules as well. It's very different from D&D, and it can be overwhelming coming into a new game system. And then, like, I'm sure, like, once we are confident with everything, it'll be like just easy, just like walking. Um, but it does take a little bit of energy to get across that like initial hill to kind of make sure you know what you're doing."
Sorry, Scout is screaming from somewhere. Where are you? Stop yelling.
No worries. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to what we have coming up, and it would be appreciated if anyone here could drop a follow to Distant Whispers, because we do have some plans that I don't know if necessarily we'll talk about this. It's up to you, Sarah. I'll leave it up to you, um, so you can decide. But we do have some plans for like when we hit affiliate, that do kind of require us hitting affiliate. That I'm hoping it happens soon. Um, we might be able to figure out like a workaround, but we'll see. I'm being very vague.
You're
um,
fine. You're good. It's one of those things where it's gonna be once I feel like once you get like your feet like dug in, leave us hanging. Yeah, poof. Once you get your feet dug in, it's gonna take off faster than you think. Like I said we were earlier, it's like you really care about it and you have a lot of knowledge. I think it's just the first stumble is like believing in it, and then
mhm.
once you actually believe in it, then others start to believe in it too. Um, but yeah, no, I have no problem. Definitely, guys, if you're in my chat, just like hop over, and just give a follow as well. Like, I, I don't think you're gonna have that hard of a time once you get rolling to like keep that momentum, but definitely is something that you got to start rolling.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's definitely a group effort. Like I mean, I want to attribute everyone who works on these projects. Like, I mean, you're gonna have a huge part in it. Like the whole cast is gonna have like a huge part in like working on this, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to like if the entertaining particular thoughts, like if this does kind of get launched off the ground, and if it doesn't, we'll just keep kind of doing what we like to do, which works too. Um, but I do have some really cool plans that I think are cool, so I'm biased. But like once we do get to that point where we're at the threshold where we're like kind of making back the money that we're spending, like all that stuff. And vice versa, if you're in Distant Whispers cast Twitch and you're not already following Sarah on Twitch, please go and do that. I'm sure everyone is already, because I think there's a lot of crossover between our
Yeah.
communities, perhaps. But if not, please go ahead and
We'll be the
drop
next
a
Critical
follow.
Role Trust.
Uh,
the Thank you for the
you just
follow.
jinxed us. Oh
Um,
man.
are they like D&D? So campaigns, like, correct me if I'm wrong, campaigns like this, and we're also doing a short form. The Call of Cthulhu we're doing is going to be a short form campaign. And I'll be honest, what I generally see from this is they generally only last a few sessions because everybody dies. It's one of those things, like I said, you're squishier, but the cosmic horrors aren't. And so
Yeah, and I do have plans, so we'll see if that may or may not come to fruition. But I think it is, as I said before, I think it is a little bit different from like typical Call of Cthulhu gameplay in certain senses. Not like in a sense where it's like completely different from like the format and the system itself, but kind of using that. And I think it is putting like a little bit of a unique twist. I mean, what do I know? I haven't really been in the community that much, which is actually why I think maybe it is a unique twist because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just kind of making up as I go. And I'm I'm sure it's something that's hasn't been done because I don't know what I'm doing exactly with this game system yet. And so, but that's kind of why I like coming to something for the first time, though, because like kind of just like it coming to like an acting monologue or a scene or like a play for the first time, you see things differently the first glance through, and you read things differently the first read through that you kind of forget about. You forget that like spontaneity,
spontaneity.
like spontaneity, I guess, if that's a word.
Yep, you got it.
And you just like forget about it. And you kind of through knowing a game system, I think we all sometimes like try to get back to that point where we are visiting it for the first time because we see it from such a unique perspective. So that's something I'm actually really looking forward to, of having like a completely new cast for this game system. I think it's going to make some like interesting like turns of events, I suppose. But what do you think? Like, how do you think like that will affect things in the long run?
I think, in general, I think that having, I'm gonna find a way to kill a cosmic core.
We'll
uh,
see about
I think having like new eyes on a thing always makes it like, it's always gonna change it. But like that's the thing about like great art though, is it's always like it's not exactly like one by one. It's like a reflection of it, but there is like, we're gonna put our own spin on things and we're gonna put our personality into it, and honestly, it'll just make it better. There's a
that. Hmm.
lot of learning curve, but I think it encourages what's a good word for it? Like not spontaneity. Like it, things that you won't do the perfect route every time because it's not gonna work. Like, you don't know the perfect route. You're gonna do what you think is right, and then you're gonna end up making the most horrible mistake. And it's gonna be funny, and it's gonna make you have to think out of the box to like fix the next thing. So I in general think it's better for growth just to not know, but also like, you know what I'm trying to say. Like you,
Yeah.
okay, sorry. I'm also uber
Yeah, no,
tired,
totally.
guys, but it's been a long day for both of
Yeah,
us,
I
so
think we
give
both
us some
are a little bit.
sections. Yeah, we're a little loopy, but that's the point of these things. We're chilling with our cup of teas. I didn't get tea this
Yep.
time. I'm ashamed.
Nice, nice. Um, yeah, I didn't get much sleep, unfortunately. Something that I mean, for me, sleep is something I try to really get as much as possible, but sometimes it doesn't work out. Um, but oh well. Um,
The show goes on.
the show must go on. That reminds me of when we jumped off that waterfall in Trials of Ino. We had to find a way to get out of that situation. Right, because for those who are not aware, which is probably most of the people here, in the original campaign, there was a moment where some of the party ended up like jumping down a waterfall to try to, I believe it was to try to, I don't remember what it was exactly. You're trying to get into a valley that was overtaken by the enemy, and there was a waterfall that led into the valley. and you thought it was like they thought it was like the best way to kind of get in like without being noticed. And they jumped down like a 200-foot waterfall, and it ended up knocking down one of them immediately. Um, and yeah, Isabel turned into a salmon and died. If anyone's interested, the link to that campaign is in our Twitch kind of about us section. But yeah, what a crazy campaign. Um, but but yeah, I'm glad we're taking this new turn in some ways. Just I think it also helps to have new cast members, kind of liven things up. That's a big thing I've noticed. Because otherwise it gets stale, you know, if it's like the same cast. So that's one thing I really think we should work to incorporate. Um, we should. I like the idea of like having new people that kind of come into this to the project to the scene like every once in a while, and I think it gives it more life that way. I think if it's like just the same group over and over again, then it gets kind of like repetitive. You don't really know how to like change things up. Um,
There's more energy,
but yeah,
more interactions, more um in general just like genuine, you know what I mean? Like it knocks people out of their like set roles.
yeah, exactly. Makes people see things a little bit differently. Makes people see like the story a little bit differently. The structure of like at which everyone gets set up. It changes things in a positive way. Um, this is your way of saying I'm fired. No, no. I mean, you can have like best of both worlds. I
You
think
have to
you
have
can.
people who know the ropes and then people who show you different ways to climb the rope, you know?
Yeah. But what inspires you to like or make art or like kind of go after this the most?
Could you reword that?
Yeah, like what inspires you to create this way? Like what inspires you to like do storytelling and um to join this project, I guess, in some ways.
Um, other than like knowing a lot of the people that I'm real
Hmm.
close friends with and everything like that, um,
Right.
I would say I would say I've always kind of been um around stories. I grew up reading a lot. I liked writing stories, and then like I do like voice acting and things like that. I think it's a very good skill. Um, and I kind of always liked Dungeons and Dragons, like our TTRPGs and everything like that. I think it was super um, immersive for like the actual like story content that you're saying. It's one of those, I don't know. It's just one of those. It always came natural to me. Like I always just kind of was around stories, telling them and creating my own. I don't know, over imaginative kid with a book kind of thing.
Hmm.
What inspired you to like
Totally.
take the D&D in your hands?
Um, I think it's maybe a lot of different things. Um, I mean, one of the lamest reasons was just like we're already doing this thing. We're already playing D&D every week. Why not make it like more of a production? Um, why not like do this at the same time? Because that could be cool. But I think also just like the community in the shared human experience, maybe in like doing things like this, in like kind of giving your own interpretation of your own characters that people may share in with their experience, and kind of like sharing that with yourselves and the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons I'll also say like one of the things that I am um, that I wish wasn't holding us back was I wish, which is like this is gonna be impossible, but like I wish we could obviously be like doing this in like a studio space where like we are all like in the same room
Mm-hmm.
because I really think that does contribute to things. It contributes to the story because you know you all like breathe together in the same room. You all like are kind of more amassed as an ensemble, and just like one issue of that with doing something online, I think I foresee or have like experienced in the past is like there's moments where everyone like talks like over each other or antithesis to that, like there are those moments where like everyone's afraid to talk over each other, so they just don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
um which is kind of a hard thing to combat if you're not like in the same room together, because I think if you are in the same room together, then there's so much more of that like ensemble work, there's so much more of that like feeling other people's presence, feeling when everyone else wants to talk, like it's so much more obvious. Which is
Humans.
something that I do miss with this format, but like obviously that's impossible. Maybe
Humans
like
are
20 years,
Yeah,
but
humans are very like facial feature
mhm,
based, like, or even like facial expression, body language. You can There's certain things that, like, specifically I remember I was playing with you guys before, and I was actually I had a video we had video cameras up so we could see each other better, and that contributed so much to just expressing like different things that, like, maybe the tone didn't come off right, but you could see that they're smirking or something like that, or someone's gonna plan something Nikki, and you could tell because the way the grin would be. You're like, oh, okay, so like you had to get ready to freaking roll your evasions, like roll initiative. Like it goes so much to just seeing people, and to like you said, feel them, like be in the same room as them. It's one of those things where I might not like a lot of the things technology is. I'm sense so old. I might not like a lot of the way technology is progressing, but like that is one thing I look forward to with VR specifically, is being able
mhm.
to get a lot of those humans expressions as soon as like the face reading, because they're already developing a lot of that with like the virtual cams, like virtual like VTubers and stuff like that, like the face recognition, face movement and stuff. As soon as they start installing that stuff with actual VR things, it's gonna be amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, that scares the shit out of me.
It's one of those things where it's already happening. I'd rather it be for
Uh-huh.
entertainment than like some rich person trying to track our facial things for any like nefarious purposes.
No, that's true. I think maybe the other side of that for me is that I don't want it to also like replace entertainment that doesn't have like the virtual component.
Yeah, it's becoming one of those things where it's like I don't necessarily think it would replace. I would just think it would like it would assist what we already have, that we're just kind of dealing with it. Like you said, like with the online
Hmm.
scape of like D&D and stuff, people are always going to be playing online, especially with like the whole rise in like the acceptance of like mental issues or anxiety or anything like that. I feel like a lot of more online spaces, we're moving there anyway. But if we could get to the point where it's more human, I feel like it would take us backwards. You know what I mean? Because it'd be one of those things where it would help people engage in a space that they're not necessarily comfortable with, and they can kind of turn on those like settings or filters, or like baby step push their comfort zone into something that would be more like, because it kind of even started like with me necessarily. So it's like, oh, one of those things. I don't know a lot about D&D. You will not find me at like a TTRPG store, like going and trying to like sit down or play like people who do Magic the Gathering. Like I love cards. Like I love the um oh my gosh, I forgot what it's called. You know, like the collector card things. I have those like with my hermit cards. They're the um gosh, I can't think of the word for it now. But you know, like the people who play like Pokemon or Magic or anything like that, like the TCG. There we go. Like just TCG games in general. um, I would never be caught dead doing that, but after engaging in an online community where I can like figure out the rules and learn more about it, and it's more easily accessible to get knowledge that makes you feel more comfortable in a situation you wouldn't. To sum it all up.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never thought about it that way. I have to admit. It's an interesting idea. Yeah.
I just feel like we've gotten more exposed to the because it seems like it's like, oh, we're having more and more of this like issue of people not going out, and I was like, I don't necessarily think so. I think it's just more so we're now recognizing it because people can actually not have to be isolated. Instead of it's just one of
Yeah.
those things where instead of being the spinster on the side of the town and not like talking to anybody and being the crazy old Maggie, it's like, oh, now it's just she streams. And she streams weird stuff, but she has a community. You know what I mean? You find the other crazy old
Yeah.
Maggies. I don't know. I think it's all
Yeah.
based on what it is used for. Sorry for the rant. But I think
No, no.
technology is
Happy to hear
definitely a tool. And it's just how you use it is where it goes.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do see what you're saying. I potentially see it maybe a little bit differently. But I also see like the merits that you're talking about for sure. My only concern being that like I think with things like that, it's also fixing a problem that it's causing in a sense. I think this in a lot of ways technology has kind of caused. I'm gonna sound like a luddite. um, Technology has kind of caused people to kind of separate more than they ever were in some senses, and maybe that was especially with the pandemic. But I think technology does have also this potential to make problems of like social anxiety, problems of like separation, problems where someone doesn't feel like they have like the ability to go into a game store. Like it makes problems with like that a little bit worse. And so it's in a way compensating for something that it creates in that capacity. It's kind of how I see it. But I also see it as like I mean, some people don't have the opportunity to interact with the community. Some people don't have that potential or ability, depending on like their material circumstances, depending on where they live, kind of what's around them. So I think in that sense, it's a great thing to kind of connect people and something that is impossible to find like outside, like off of these things. But in a sense, I do also think that it's kind of causing the issue of isolation and separation and divergence, especially being able to see like all the people that agree with you and being able to like kind of never change your opinion, never like
Mm-hmm.
see new
Oh yeah,
viewpoints, never see.
confirmation bias is a huge thing.
Uh-huh.
I will follow up with I think a lot of the negative parts of technology come from the people behind it. Um so I would feel I would legitimately not like argue against what you're saying. I definitely feel what you're saying and it is true. I think the root cause is not the technology. There is a lot of
Right. I mean,
other root
it's always
causes.
it's always the people that made the technology, I
Or
think.
like the
Um,
purpose behind it. So like the reason why a lot of technology, dare I say it, social media is toxic is because now it's gone towards marketing and it's gone towards trying to make people feel inadequate or feel helpless or like it's trying to encourage something negative so that you can like spend money or do like necessarily what they think. I would say a lot of like marketing in general is like the root of a lot of propaganda is just it's so immersed in our freaking existence and it's so toxic and it's like you can't go anywhere without it. You can't freaking after you have to pay to avoid it and even then you get it. You can't buy a streaming service and watch just stupid little shows about D&D people fighting dragons without having 6,000
no.
ads. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to pay for the service so that I don't have to get the ads. And then they'll just like, oh, we'll give you less ads. That's not the point. And it's gotten a lot worse in recent years. I'm going to sound so old, but like I don't remember it being that way. I remember you used to time the ads between Cartoon Network shows based on like how like long to put your like cup of ramen in, and you're like, yep, and that was it. But now it's like 3 times as long. You could eat 3 times as many cup of ramens. Like it's getting ridiculous. I'm so sick of modern day advertising. I just wish I could be offline entirely. But I think that is the point. They want us to disconnect. And it's
Hmm.
not necessarily the right direction. They want to just throw so many signs up in your face you don't see through them, but it's like there is something here. We are more connected than normal. Groups and like teams of people who never would have met, never would have been allowed to meet, specifically in these trying times, or like these political stances and stuff like that. You wouldn't be able to necessarily safely go out and like engage with this kind of content, and it's allowing them to do a lot more, and they're trying to bury that, I think, with the whole myth, like the whole reason why the stigma of like social media started was because of that fear that they had. Because like I will firmly stand behind most public opinions of things are from corporations. Because if the public generally agrees on something, it's because we were told to by a giant corporation and we all heard it, and that's why it's like wives' tales, but with like old rich men instead of like wives.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think it is
You're making me go on a rant. I
important
apologize.
to no, no. This is what this is for. I think. Um, but yeah, I think in many cases, like the structure of like social media is made to disconnect, and I guess that's I think where we like agree the most in our
Oh yeah,
kind of viewpoint. Maybe just like
yeah.
we see its potential.
It's not designed for what we know it can be intended for.
Yeah, and it does have these great intentions, other than like disconnecting people, driving people apart, um, making people more insecure.
Yeah, they put a
It
pretty
does have,
label on it,
mhm,
but it's still poison.
yeah, um, yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, it is controlled by corporations that just do want to maximize profit,
Speaking
above
of,
like the people. At
ad is starting
yeah,
in 2 minutes. Sorry, continue.
no worries. And their mission isn't to bring people together like we would hope it would be,
Mm-mm.
um, but instead to do whatever kind of works for them, and only them, um, which oftentimes means the exact opposite of the benefit of like the community and the collective.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, maybe that's where like we agree the most. I think, unless I'm mistaken.
No, no, no. You're completely right. I
Okay, okay.
it was like mic drop, enough said. I was like I went on a
I don't
little
want
bit
to
of a
assume.
rant, so I was trying to. No, 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 no. I completely
No,
agree.
you're good.
I think in general we just we buy it for the label because we could see what it could be, and we're unfortunately being sold a lie.
Somehow, like I know that this is kind of the point. But whenever we talk, it always goes into this point of like anti-corporation, like
Oh yeah, no.
anti-capitalist.
I'm a cottagecore bitch. Like I just live. I don't
Hell yeah.
I don't would, if I could, I would fight every power, but unfortunately, I'm not in the financial state to do any of that business right now. But
I just hope that I mean not hope. I just think it's so funny that all roads lead back to this one in our discussions, which is great, honestly. And I guess like piggy banking off of what you just said, like
piggy
I do
banking.
hope. Is that a is that something
No,
people say? I have no
it's
idea.
piggybacking, which is like following up with what you said.
Oh
But
no, I
I
stand
like
by
the
what I
term. No,
say.
no, we're just
Piggy
gonna say
banking.
piggy banking because we're gonna add value to this conversation based on it. I do like it. We're gonna go off that piggy banking
Yeah,
on
that's
it.
what I meant the whole time. The whole time. Piggy banking. I coined that phrase.
Ha,
Can't
coined.
steal it.
coins.
Oh man, what was I saying? Oh yeah, banking off of that. Literally, I guess it leads into my next point, but like if this podcast ever does go somewhere, I really want to like be that kind of
Force for good.
I'm yeah, and like if it does become like a more of like a corporation, I guess I would want it to be more like working at the behest of like social justice issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um and using stories not just as a means of entertainment but also as a means to change the world for the better, to enact like a positive future and to connect people more than it drives people apart, and to rally behind certain issues, um and like kind of group and just like port things and kind of enjoy this like collective feeling of making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I ultimately want for this, but it might take a while to get there if we do get there.
Honestly, just curating a community of people who are of like minds is more than the beginning of it. You know what I mean? It's the start, the roots, so to speak, of a
Yeah,
lot of action comes from just people who have the same ideas.
yeah, totally. And even trying to bring people that don't have the same ideas and
Yeah, just expressing in.
mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of opinions in the world. Not all of them are right, but they are all people's opinions. They're all rooted in something. And that's what you need to
Yeah,
figure out. The root is valid, or at least it is to the person.
right. Like everyone's background and them being led to think a certain way, I think is maybe valid to some extent. I mean, to the point where you're causing harm, like that's never valid. Um,
Oh yeah, no, but
but
it's the root of like what hurt came from, like what's the cause, and it's like that's valid for the person. Yes, you were hurt. That is valid. Hurting others is not, but you understandably you were hurt. Yep, that is true. Cannot deny that fact. But it's one of those things where
yeah,
people like we're all on the same footing, and despite what people like to think, it's like we all start in the same place. We're all born. It's one of those things where it's like no one's born evil. They get given a bad hand or a good hand or whatever hand, and they do what they do with it.
nature versus nurture. Now we're here.
Now we're here. I do think
Now we're
that
here.
nature does have a lot to freaking play as far as environmental.
Mhm.
You can get given a bad hand from birth, but I don't think anyone's
Yeah,
irredeemable.
yeah. One of those difficult moral quandaries, because like if you, even if that is the case, what do you do with that information, um necessarily?
Mm.
Even though I mean I guess there is certain, it does kind of make sense what you do, but yeah, it's an interesting topic there,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps for another night.
Yep.
Perhaps I'll have to think about that one a little bit more, even though maybe I've thought about it a lot, but
It's one of those things where it's like I need to actually like articulate my because I feel like a lot of the times when
exactly.
I'm talking with you, I just like straight train of consciousness word vomit, and it comes across completely differently than what I am trying. Like I need to articulate it better, and I think that's something we both kind of run into when it's like, oh, this idea I had, and you say it, and it's just straight garbo, and you're like, but it's good in my head, I
uh,
promise. And it's just like, yeah, such is the late night ponderings of the Boosk and the Arthur.
such is indeed. But yeah, I mean, I think it's ultimately like a cool thing that we can have these conversations, and very much I do hope eventually that like other people feel comfortable joining in through chat as well,
Mm-hmm. I
and
think
feeling
Boof
like
went
they
to
can.
bed. I ain't gonna front.
Oh yeah, don't worry, it's like super late there. Um, but it would be
No, I'm here.
oh
Hi, Boof.
cool. But like not no pressure for anyone to say anything. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like once people like feel like really like they feel included in the discussion, I feel like that'd be a cool thing to get different perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like we are kind of each other's sounding board in a certain way, but then once you like throw in like another gear, then it'll
Mm-hmm.
open up like a gap that we didn't see.
We need to find a
um
way to put chat on screen with avatars.
yeah, this is, I mean, this is a fairly basic setup that I have on this side of things.
Mm-hmm. I
That
just
I'll need to do a little bit more.
stream avatars is so blah. But I mean, we could probably do a stream avatars thing. That would actually probably get people engaged because they had visuals. Just in general, it's kind of slapshot together, but I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like simple sometimes. Simple is
Yeah,
nice.
it's like less clutter. I'm here too, just working on urgent homework. Oh no. Yeah,
We're
no.
good.
We're not like calling anyone out. We appreciate y'all
Yeah,
just
we're
chilling.
not saying you need to reply. You need to say something. We're not
We're just
saying
saying,
that.
in general, as the community grows, and it's like we hope that the open communication, open dialogue is still always going to be there, even when the community gets bigger.
Yeah.
I think
So at
that
the end of the
was,
day, that's how
yeah.
you bridge gaps, and I think that's a cool thing about community. I think it's one thing that like online world perpetuates, like finding communities where it's only the same voice, like which is great in some capacities where people find other people like them that they don't really run across in real life, and that they feel like they're safe and all that. But I think it also can like create like this um cultural stagnation of just like you find people like yourself and then you never branch out to other people, you never bridge any other gaps. So I hope that that's one thing that we can kind of do here, try to bridge gaps, try to not only find people like us necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Having the counter side of an opinion, like the whole great minds think alike, but fools rarely differ. You know,
Hmm.
we don't want to
Yeah,
end up being just in a like echo chamber that doesn't
don't want to be a
encourage
fool.
thought. Yeah, no, don't be a fool.
Try to be a fool.
But yeah, I think I might be calling it though. I am getting a little much.
Okay, no worries. Well, I think I was a successful
Yeah,
first episode, if you will.
for sure. And we will. I don't know if we'll do this next Saturday, but we will definitely try to. We're gonna talk it out. Maybe work up a set schedule, and then I'll inform you guys of what's going on. We might need to change the time though, cause well, no, not really. Maybe I just need to better manage my spoons. Um, but yeah, thank you for joining Arha, and thank you chat for chiming in. I hope you guys had a lovely time just vibing, hanging out with us as we preached on our little soapboxes of different opinions.
Yep, that's all this is
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
and that's why you
And
guys are here.
mhm. Yep, yep. And I think there's a lot we can do with this. I mean, I'm certainly looking forward to like hopefully having some guests on in the future. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm gonna
mhm.
wrap it up, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm also gonna go on the end screen. Thank you guys for watching, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.